Ladies and gentlemen, this is Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie. And the show starts right now.
Good evening, everybody. Oh, we got an echo going on. Welcome to the Saturday issue of Red, White, and True. Our apologies. We're dealing with some internet issues, but we're getting that corrected. No worries. And we will get you the news you need to know and doing the right thing. Pastor Ed, are you with us?
I think so. You hear me okay?
I hear you just fine. No issues.
All right. Well, we had something lined up to show, and I'm going to share the screen here for just a second and show you what we have and let you know that if you come on at the beginning and you see the following timer, you'll know that you're in the right spot. Gives people a chance to get in, and let's take a look at it. Share screen.
Let's do it.
So if we were on and this was on, but you might not see us on the side, we may be getting last second things done, but it's a timer. We'll probably have some music on with it, and it's a new feature that we've got, and so we may start using it here. I was going to use it tonight, but last second glitches, and so we didn't, but wanted to show you that just so that
that's awesome. That's cool.
You're aware of, we're always trying to do some new things to get better, and well, that's what we're doing here on Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie. Welcome everyone. Lots of people here from X again tonight, and we're always glad to have you with us. We've got regulars that'll be coming in. We've got two major topics and one kind of just for fun. Those topics, Iran, obviously the latest there. I titled the second part, Minneapolis versus ICE. And I did it in that order because I don't think ICE looks at it as ICE versus Minneapolis. I think ICE is just looking at it to do their job. And then towards the end, we'll talk for a second or two about, this topic right here.
1, 2, you know what to do. Indiana, Indiana, we're all for you. We will fight for the cream and crimson, for the glory of old IU. Never daunted, we cannot falter. In the battle, we're tried and true. Indiana, Indiana, we're all for you. Our cream and crimson school. IU, let's go!
I couldn't resist. I had to get something on here. IU football has stunk, forever. And they are in the national championship game Monday night. So we're excited about that. the other thing that we're excited about is that we are on tonight on Ronnie's birthday. Happy birthday, Ronnie.
Thank you very much.
24, right?
Yes, right. That's right. Again.
Actually, you take that in undyslexic it, and he is the big 4-2. And so
That's right.
we had some birthday cake a little earlier. And you know what? We should have had you be ready to show what your birthday present was.
I've got it right in the background, actually, as a matter of fact.
Well,
I can grab it most Ricky Tick.
I found this. I found this in our house. For those that don't know, we bought my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house. Amy grew up here. And so we continue to find little things that were mostly her dad's that were satisfied with just the box.
Right here,
Okay.
Civil Defense Radiological Defense Operations Set. And I was just wanting the box. I didn't care what was in it. I wanted the box because I collect Cold War era survival stuff. I've got first aid kits and other stuff. But my ultimate goal was to have something in the box. And lo and behold, the box is complete. Radiation detectors, dosimeters, all Cold War era stuff. I've been geeking out over this all week long. Civil Defense. It's got all the manuals. It actually had batteries, and the batteries were placed in January 1984. So the batteries that were put in this box was put in the month and the year that I was born. So that tells you how old it was. Yes, I am.
And the box and the contents were much older than 1984.
Yes.
And what's that say?
The most special part of all of this, it says G. Coon 19, and that's my grandpa Coon and his unit number on the police department. So tells you how long ago he was a police officer. My unit number was 3316, so he was unit 19.
And Ronnie said yesterday that the G Coon stood for Grandpa Coon.
Grandpa.
It actually stands for Gary. But it fits either way. It fits either way. And
we got a question here. Was there any glitter? Yes. And you can thank my 11-year-old sitting over here for the glitter. She did put on some kind of glitter something and then came and gave me a big hug. So the glitter continues. I appreciate it.
I would have answered that no. I didn't know about it.
Yeah, she all of a sudden said, "Come here, Daddy. I need my daddy hugs." And I just so happened to look at her and she was sparkling. So she got her daddy hugs and I got the glitter.
Well, you know, I think mainstream media is really, really, really focused on Minneapolis. And I really believe that we still should be focused primarily on Iran.
Yes. Because of the differences that we've talked about all week.
Minneapolis is basically it's a man-made issue that could be gone tomorrow or tonight. Iran is an ongoing situation. It is man-made, but way more critical in my estimation. I think that the Minneapolis issue is more about the left's agenda, and that's why the media is covering it so much. It is the agenda of liberals, and the liberal mainstream media is going to stay stuck on that. And that even includes some of the more conservative sites, Fox. They've been basically nonstop covering Minneapolis. And I think that if the media would, do a little bit of coverage on Minneapolis, I think there would be less problems in Minneapolis. If there wasn't media covering it, Ronnie, I don't think they would be as inclined to be out on the streets.
No. Like we watched last night, it was almost ridiculous. It was almost really embarrassing because they would come out, they would form, the police would come out and they would form up. Protesters, rah, rah, rah. There was one dressed like a dinosaur. There was one dressed like a pink character from Among Us. And they'd come out. The little bit that I watched, they came out, knocked a guy down, took him into custody, come back out again, took another guy down, knocked him out, took him to custody. And then these protesters were taking their bottles of water, like half drank, and they were pouring it on the ground so it would freeze so that it wasn't ICE agents. It was actually U.S. Customs Enforcement agents, so Border Patrol. They were protecting the federal government building, and they were dumping the water down and, trying to make them slip. Stupid stuff like that. Wah, wah, wah. And it's only, let's see if I can find it. It's only being perpetuated by people like their mayor, but then their mayor may have gotten, Mayor Twinkletoes, foul-mouthed Twinkletoes, got himself in trouble, and then he decided he wanted to backpedal. And if you're friends with us on Facebook, then you saw it. But if not, here we go.
And for anyone that is taking the bait tonight, stop. That is not helpful. Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos. And I have seen thousands of people throughout our city peacefully protesting. For those that have peacefully protested, I applaud you. For those that are taking the bait, you are not helping, and you are not helping the undocumented immigrants in our city. You are not helping the people that call this place home.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Backpedal, 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 he says.
Well, that
and for
was
those of you peacefully protesting. Come on.
That was about 11:30 at night on the night that there was a
another shooting.
Civilian that was shot in the leg. And let's just, I don't know if you have a video of it describing, but let's look at a little bit about what was taking place that night. ICE was in the process of arresting a violent immigrant, and he wrecked the car and got out and ran. So the ICE agent got out and ran after him. They got into an altercation, and two other thugs got out of a house, and they started beating this ICE agent. One of them was using a shovel handle, basically beating the crap out of the ICE agent. And he pulled his weapon, and the guy's lucky he's still alive. He shot him in the leg, and and the ICE agent is the bad guy. Three guys were beating him, and the ICE agent is the bad guy just because he was there. Whether or not liberals want ICE in Minneapolis or they don't want ICE in Minneapolis, here's the facts of life. They are in Minneapolis. ICE is in Minneapolis. And at this point in time, they're not going anywhere. They are going to stay there. They are going to do the job that they've been assigned to do. And they are going to take violent felons. And you can look at the information that's coming out on who they've taken into custody and things like that. And we're talking violent felons up to and including people that have committed murder. And they're not going anywhere. So whether the people of Minneapolis like that or they don't like it, that's their life for right now. And I don't see that changing anytime soon, Ronnie.
No, I don't either. I honestly don't. I did find a few things amusing. A lot of people are saying this is AI. So, and I know this is red, white, and true, but if it's not AI, it's kind of funny. I don't know. I don't see that being AI, but that's ICE getting out there and doing their job, and the fire department helping them out. And this is absolutely insanity that this is still an issue. We've covered this top to bottom, inside and out, and it still continues to be an issue. These people are just protesting, being crybabies, but at least ICE is having a little bit of fun with them. Those are federal ICE agents driving past protesters, playing the song on ice cream trucks that they play. So I thought that was pretty good.
Well, let me throw this back up there. Took it off because the video was playing, but Trump needs to call martial law and put them on curfew, get rid of Tampon Tim and his kid, who is the mayor. The martial law, I don't know if that can be done from the federal level or if it has to be done from the state level. Of course, I don't think the president has the power to unseat a sitting governor, but something needs to be done.
The martial law thing it's dangerous. And it is really hard to revert back from. Now, martial law, law-abiding citizens like you, me, Pastor Ed, anybody else who is a law-abiding citizen that can carry a firearm is now a felon for carrying any kind of firearm, any kind of protection like that. It'll be boots on the ground. It'll be an occupied territory, and it's really hard to come back from. Now, what he is talking about is the Insurrection Act. Now, the Insurrection Act, is not as powerful as martial law. And it's really hard to classify a certain area like Minneapolis under martial law, but outside of Minneapolis is not. It would have to be like a countrywide thing. And that's only in times of huge emergencies. So it wouldn't be martial law. It'd be more of the Insurrection Act. And the Insurrection Act is, there you go. Yeah. I knew what you and I were on the same page. We knew what you're talking about. So yeah. Yeah, it's Donald Trump's played around with that idea, and I really hope he pulls the trigger on it because this is getting out of control. When you've got real world issues like Iran, Venezuela, Russia, Greenland, possibility of World War III, China, Taiwan, everything like that, and you're wanting to piss around with a bunch of protesters like this, who literally admits she's a paid protester and she's a friend of George Soros.
Why are you dressed up today?
Who are you? Are you right wing?
I'm a conservative, yes. Okay, but I'm trying to have a good conversation.
So you all know that I'm paid, right? Don't you all know that I'm paid?
Yeah, you're at every single protest ever, yes.
I get paid to be here.
How does that work? Do you get paid per protest, or is it like a commission fee? Like if you're louder, you get paid more?
If I'm louder, I get paid more. If I'm obnoxious, I get paid more. If I cuss you all out, I get paid more.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Who writes your checks? Is it George Soros?
Soros, definitely George Soros.
Well, thank you for admitting it.
Yeah.
You're the honest one out
Me
here.
personally.
He owes you a lot, right?
No, he knows me
knows you?
personally. Yeah.
Are you his favorite protester?
I am his favorite protester.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Welcome. I tell them.
So, yeah, dressed like a dinosaur to protest ICE.
Representing George Soros.
And I did not see this. Black Panthers are running their mouths.
I
Go
did not
figure.
see that either.
I didn't either. Go figure.
Yeah.
Go figure. Oh, well. I think that's all I've got on these crybabies.
And that's about accurate. There is it's the number one story on Fox, which seems to say a lot. The Minnesota National Guard posted a photo on social media Saturday showing what they will be wearing if they are activated to distinguish themselves from other agencies as they remain on standby amid intensifying anti-ICE protests. Now, let me say this about the situation. They are not on standby to fight against ICE. They are on standby to help the Minneapolis PD with riot control.
Absolutely.
Let me share the screen and show you. I was thinking that they were going to have some, well, let me just show you. I thought it was going to be this big deal, and that's what it
If the
is.
state militia acts against the federal government, that is actually a civil war. So that guy needs to shut his damn mouth up now because he's calling for a civil war. Mike Waltz is an absolute moron.
Now, that is AI.
The long and the short of it.
Yeah.
He's an absolute moron who is essentially calling for
yeah. So
Civil War. Calling for Civil War. We've been closer to Civil War than we are with this little pansy group. What? 100 protesters last night, standing in 11-degree weather with the snow.
Well, like you said, pouring water on the ground so that it freezes. That's almost like high school pranks.
Right. Sorry, I just got Zelensky pulled up on one of my monitors. He's talking about something. Strikes in Odessa and Kharkiv. 400,000 people are facing a difficult situation with electricity as a result of the strikes. All repair crews and necessary forces. Everything else is deployed. While he's sitting in his huge mansion paid by the United States. Enough of that guy. Sorry.
Well, let's segue over to Iran. And I wanted to read a little bit of a story. Former Iranian prisoners reveal torture horrors as regime kills protesters on site during crackdown. As protests across Iran and security forces intensify their crackdown, former political prisoners are warning that what is visible on the streets represents only a fraction of the violence unfolding behind prison walls. In interviews, 3 former detainees described a system designed not just to punish dissent, but to break it through solitary confinement, beatings, medical neglect, and other threats of execution. Their accounts span nearly 2 decades, and we're not going to go all the way back there, but it makes sense to me, Ronnie, that we're only getting part of the story on what's going on with the crackdown of ICE, or not ICE, I'm sorry, about the Islamic Republic leaders, the minions of the Ayatollah. And What are you showing there?
This is just flight tracker. I figured instead of looking at our ugly mugs when you were reading that story, we'd pull this up. This is a current flight tracker in Iran.
Use your
I did look
cursor
up.
to.
I did look up. There is not a NOTAM. It's not a notice to airmen, so that there are no flights blacked out in Iran right now. So that airspace closure that we monitored the other day came and went. They did another one. It came and went, and then it's gone. But regular flight patterns in Iran right now. But that could change it.
Which aren't overly heavy, really.
No, it's just a lot of civilian planes going to terrain or flying across it. These are all just passenger liners. Dubai to New York, Dubai to Orlando, Delhi to Kuwait City, Dubai to Moscow, Moscow to Dubai. So they're just passenger liners. There's no military right now, at least not with their flight trackers on. It's pretty quiet over there.
It's interesting the solidarity that is starting to show around the world, not just in Iran. But look at this from Toronto.
That's great.
SOS for Iran, and it let's see. Of course, we've seen demonstrations in Los Angeles here in the States that got out of hand a little bit with a U-Haul truck. That story.
Got it.
The guy was arrested, but then claimed that law enforcement had let him go with his truck down through there, and he was afraid for his life, and yada yada yada. We've been watching some of the other live streams, Tusi TV, Agenda Free, with Steve Lookner, and we well, I kind of want to go back again to Iran and Minneapolis, and Steve from Agenda Free in particular is trying to juggle those two at the same time, and it's kind of an awkward situation. You know, it's a big story in Minneapolis, but really we've been there, done that. The George Floyd riots, you know, this isn't nearly as bad as the George Floyd riots. And thus we continue to talk about Minneapolis. In Iran, it's interesting that the day that we covered and thought things were going to go down and didn't, I've read since then that Trump's biggest reason for turning things back that day was the fact that supposedly there would be no executions that were set that had already been scheduled. That Tehran had gone back on that. I don't know. Ronnie, you've said all along that Trump is playing a game of chess. Why don't you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, so just like he did with Venezuela, it was a game of chess. We all knew it was coming. We all knew checkmate was coming, just like in a game of chess. But we didn't know when, and it was move upon, move upon, move upon, checkmate. And I have a feeling he's doing the same thing with Iran. He's got so many balls in there, and you got to think about it. the stupid Greenland thing, which I wish would just go away, but I don't think is going to. He's worrying about Russia and Ukraine, China and Taiwan, Venezuela, all this crap going on in Minneapolis where everybody's chanting and everything. And thank you, Bill. I did get the video. I was going to play it on here, but they actually said FAFO. But yes, Black Panthers are back. And it kind of reminded me of when the paramedic was shot in Louisville, and they had the one black group, and I don't remember their name, but they were out and they were protesting, and one guy shot himself because they were so professional, and he removed his gun and shot himself or something. They're a joke. Not worried about them. Same thing with the KKK. It's a bunch of redneck yokels. But yeah, Trump's playing chess, and like I've said all along, we're going to wake up one morning, and something huge has gone down in Iran. It's going to be when we least expect it. Just like the Venezuela thing, he was planning on an attack on Christmas, and that part did not go down because of weather conditions. He was playing chess, and bam, checkmate there. So he said multiple times, help is on the way. Keep doing what they're doing. Help is on the way. And I believe that. Trust the plan. So I'm just waiting until one day I wake up and Iran's a big glass Dollar General parking lot. And that Ayatollah Khamenei is gone because of this crap right here.
گله میکنن که چرا ملت ایران میگن مرگ بر آمریکا. اولا بنده این رو برای حضرات بزرگان آمریکایی روشن کنم. مرگ بر آمریکا یعنی مرگ بر ترامپ و جان بول.
Now, my apologies for that being so small, but what they're chanting is death to America. And then when Ayatollah Khamenei is speaking, he says, when we say death to America, we want all U.S. leaders to know death to America means death to Trump. So, yeah, because of that crap right there.
And I think that, in a roundabout way, that they have taken credit for assassination attempts against the president.
Which I don't see that was them. They may be, like you said, taking credit for it, but that kid on a rooftop in Pennsylvania,
no, I don't.
That was a joke operation, especially by the Secret Service and law enforcement. But we're not going to get into that.
I don't think it was those two, if it is anything at all. I think it was probably either plots that got foiled or they backed off or whatever. I surely, the guy at the golf course and the kid on the roof, if Iran can't do any better than those two,
right, then just give up.
I mean, granted, the kid on the rooftop nearly killed the president, but I'm not saying that wasn't a bad thing, because it definitely was. But that just, to me, doesn't sound like an Iranian plot to hire some kid to climb on a roof and take pot shots at the president. That doesn't sound like the way they do things.
But like I said, clearly we're going to wake up one of these days and something's going to be different. Now, I don't know how much I believe in this, and this is veering off topic, but going about with Trump playing chess, these are other things that have come up that I didn't think about in the realm of attacking Iran and this stupid Greenland thing. But this is Tucker Carlson. Now, if you remember Tucker Carlson, he had the show on Fox. He was showing insurrection videos from Jan 6. He got fired from Fox. Now he's doing his own thing. I still love the guy dearly, but he might seem a little off the rails about this stuff.
What would happen if your president were to be assassinated by the Ukrainians or Europe or the United States?
That would mean that Europe will be taken away from the map of humanity. Now we would have to start to attack Europe with conventional weapons, and then next step will be waves of nuclear. I am starting to say that these idiots do not understand anything but physical pain.
So he was talking to an ambassador of Russia who was talking about the assassination attempt on Putin, which, was said by Ukraine a few weeks ago. What would happen? And he said that they would wipe Europe off of the face of the map, essentially. start off with conventional weapons and then move to nuclear. And these people only understand something but pain. They don't understand anything but pain. Now, don't you think Donald Trump's worrying about that as well? So, Iran maybe isn't number one. Unfortunately, it's this way, but here's Tucker again.
Russia is actively considering the use of nuclear weapons against Europe, specifically the UK and Germany.
Next step will be waves of nuclear. My choice would be Britain and Germany.
No one seems to be paying any attention at all to the biggest story of our lifetimes, potentially. Russia has rewritten its nuclear strategy to include use of nuclear weapons against countries that are acting as proxies for nuclear armed powers. And then a week ago, Russia sent hypersonic missiles into Ukraine. This was an attack designed to say, whoa, we feel like our core interests, our existential interests are threatened, and if you don't back off, the next one will have a nuclear warhead on it, and it's coming at you, Europe.
Really makes you think, what would happen if Russia did nuke Germany and UK, like you said? Obviously, America would retaliate. So
I think we're in World War III if that happens. If that happens, we're in World War III.
Yeah, it's full-scale world war, nuclear war, and Iran is gone from number one on your priority list to, I'm sorry, but the bottom, because right now we're more worried about, Russia and its nukes, China and its nukes, India and its nukes, Pakistan, Iran, if they have them, or North Korea. So... sorry for the Saturday birthday downer, everyone, but
yeah, really,
we're here to be red, white, and assume. We're here in red, white, and true, and it is what it is. That's why I've got the command center, and we're here to bring you information all the time. So.
Well, there was some good news today. United States Central Command, or CENTCOM, announced on Saturday a leader affiliated with Al-Qaeda who had direct ties to an ISIS terrorist responsible for killing 2 U.S. service members and an American interpreter on December the 13th, was killed in a U.S. airstrike in northwest Syria on Friday. CENTCOM officials said that Bilal Hassan el-Jasmine was an experienced terrorist leader who plotted attacks and was directly connected with the ISIS gunmen who killed and injured those 3 that we mentioned earlier. The death of a terrorist operative linked to the deaths of 3 Americans demonstrates our resolve in pursuing terrorists who attack our forces, said CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper. There's no safe place for those who conduct, plot, or inspire attacks on American citizens and our war fighters. We will find you. And, the interesting thing is that we can say that stuff because we back it up. He said that after the fact. He didn't just blow hard and make a threat. He said it after the person was eliminated.
Yes.
Unalived is what some places say that don't want to get their streams demonetized. Yeah, and
we're not monetized, so we can stay killed.
But we're working on it. And one of the things that you can do to help us is go to our YouTube page and follow us, like us, subscribe, or whatever it is you do on YouTube. And I was going to ask you about putting that up here shortly. We're doing some things to try to fund this. We got lots of plans in our mind, but those plans take funds. And there you see our very first sponsor of Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie. And while you talk about that, I will go over here and grab what we have here in the kitchen.
Awesome. Yes.
Actually, your mom's going to get it.
Oh, well, good deal. It is Sergeant D's Coffee Beans, veteran owned, very amazing stuff. We have not been able to break into it yet, but we did get a bag to try. There it is. Looking forward to it. Smells amazing. My goodness. Sergeant D's Coffee Beans. Great guy, veteran owned, Darren Ness. Check him out. SergeantD'sCoffeeBeans.com. And he's also on Facebook.
And it smells really, really, really good.
Phenomenal.
Here, I'll just hide behind this and just sniff.
But he was at the winter market today. We were not able to get live to say that. I believe the winter market in Columbus, the Sears building, is again in 2 weeks. I didn't get a chance to go, but check him out. SergeantD'sCoffeeBeans.com on Facebook. Great guy. Some good coffee.
Now, let's go back to Iran for a second. And something that you and I and Trevor, you and I down here with your mom have talked about is the mission in Iran is going to take quite a bit more than 20 soldiers to go in and capture Maduro and bring him back to jail. I mean, there's an aircraft carrier on their way to the Middle East. It takes several days to get from the South China Sea up there. It takes, it's going to take more than just a few bombs that are dropped by planes or missiles that are sent by naval ships. The regime in Tehran is not going to just fold over throwing a few bombs their way. They desperately want to hold on to power, and you know it's going to be an operation that is ongoing and not just in and out in a certain few hours. Actually, it was like, what they say, 20 minutes on the ground or something like that.
Yeah.
And we're not looking at that in Iran. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm stuck. There's a video posted 7 hours ago of B-2 bombers possibly bombing strategic targets in Tehran. They don't show a plane. They don't show bombs. They show kind of smoke in the distance. And this is 7 hours ago. You would think that we would have heard more about it. So I'm not buying it. Way to go.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah. So explain a little bit about what you think it's going to take in Iran.
Oh man. Iran's not like Venezuela. Venezuela had, what was it, something like 200 Cubans, which I thought I had the video. But the guard in Venezuela was returned home after the strike, and they were literally brought home in shoe boxes, about double the size of shoe boxes. And if I can get that video, I'll pull it up. But so Iran is a whole nother animal than Venezuela. It's going to take a whole lot more than a few Chinooks, a few drones, and 20 guys. I'm sure this has already been laid out and planned out for years. I'm sure it's been tweaked and practiced and drilled and ran through. It's going to take a massive operation. That's why they're waiting on the USS Abraham Lincoln to get their aircraft carrier, all of its destroyers, because Iran's bigger, Iran's more powerful. It's going to take a whole lot more than rinky-dink Venezuela. So trust the plan. Trump will move his chess pieces until it's checkmate. And if Venezuelan guard went home to Cuba in shoeboxes, just wait to see what's going to happen to Ayatollah Khomeini and all his nut guards that are nut jobs that hang around him. So.
Nut guards, that's
appropriate. Nut guards, yeah.
Actually, I guess you could call them cups.
Yes. Yeah, they all want to chant death to America, and Donald Trump's not going to ignore that. But I also don't think he's that worried. It's going to take a little bit more muscle than Venezuela for sure. Venezuela didn't get an aircraft. Well, it did actually. I take that back. There is an aircraft carrier strike group. I don't remember. George Washington, maybe. I don't remember. There's an aircraft carrier. Yeah, there's a strike group down there, and it's been down there. They just got their 7th tanker. Emergency action messages today, 0, but I just heard 2 before we went live. I think they said the 7th or 8th tanker.
Well, let's do something that I know that you and I both enjoyed. I think our listeners will enjoy too. And I think we both have this video. So if you want to play yours, mine seems to be cut up a little bit. But Caroline Leavitt had a press conference a couple of days ago. And if you have ever seen the smackdown laid on a journalist, oh my God! I watched live as it was going.
I did too,
and I was in awe. We may have. How long is yours?
31 seconds.
Yeah, we got the same.
It was just her spanking the one British reporter, which was phenomenal.
Go ahead and let her rip.
All right.
Why was Renee Good unfortunately in trouble?
Wait a minute. I got one right next to it. It's 1 minute and 16.
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist. And it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
Wow. And she didn't let him have his time at the end either. She went right to the next person.
That's right. Spanked him and moved on.
Yes, she did.
Sorry, I'm trying to upload that video that I was just talking about, the remains coming back. It's kind of confusing that they're coming back in basically large shoe boxes. I don't know why I didn't have it before, but we'll have it here in just a second. Little funny blurb here I just wanted to throw up.
Who has the most unhinged eating habits?
The president. He eats really bad food, which is McDonald's, and then, candy and Diet Coke. I don't know how he's alive, but he is. But if you travel with him, you get this idea that he's just pumping himself full of poison all day long.
I love it. Our JFK Jr. and don't know how he's alive, but here's that video.
Del partido, el Estado, el gobierno y los ministros de las Fuerzas Armadas Revolucionarias y el Ministerio del Interior. Honor y gloria a nuestros compañeros.
It is my hopes that they've been cremated before they went back to Cuba, because what kind of weapon would do that?
I was going to ask if you thought that Venezuela cremated them or we cremated them.
Yeah, don't know which one, but they're surely not whole, unless they're really, really small soldiers. Apologies. Let's see.
Well, some people might say, you laugh at that like it's funny. And it goes back to that old FAFO.
Yeah.
And
nobody needed to die. That's the exact thing. Nobody needed to die. Trump, said, get over here, let's talk, or, let's end this. And he didn't. So, maybe it's not the guards' fault, but it's certainly Maduro's.
Certainly.
I mean,
and there's still a lot of Maduro in Venezuela.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the good thing about thinking on that is that they've got to be petrified. Is Trump going to come back and grab somebody else? Or, I'd hate to think that I was the lady who was appointed vice president. Now she's the acting president that was never elected. Well, again, Maduro was not elected this time. He seized control, or he continued to keep control by force. But I think right now Trump could get her to agree to just about anything.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's not about to FO.
No,
yeah, for sure.
No. Your mom sent me and maybe she sent both of us, Stephen Miller from the White House. I forget his official title. He's maybe like the assistant chief of staff or something like that. But kind of jumping back around, listen to what he had to say here. Share my screen with this.
Forced every single liberal media journalist to be quiet when he brought the facts about how Biden actually gave leeway to violent illegal criminals that ended up kidnapping and murdering an American citizen little girl. Please watch this. Every single American needs to see this.
A sad reflection on the state of our media and many of the outlets represented in this room, that you obsessively try to shill for this MS-13 terrorist. Well, no coverage occurred in your papers about any of the Americans that were raped and tortured and murdered by the illegals that Biden was importing into our country. You talk about due process. The Biden administration made the decision to give extensive due process to 2 trained Nicaragua terrorists that were apprehended at the border just a couple years ago. They were 2 gentlemen. They were from Venezuela. They were members of Trained Nicaragua. The Biden administration Border Patrol apprehended them and made the decision to provide them with extensive due process, put them onto a program known as supervised release, and put them on ankle monitors so that they could go through a lengthy legal judicial determination as to whether these legal aliens who had just set foot on U.S. soil might want to live in the United States for the rest of their lives. What was the result of that decision? What was the result of that choice that was made? Those 2 men kidnapped a young girl named Jocelyn Ungary from her family. They beat her. They sexually assaulted her. They tortured her. They stripped her. They murdered her, and they dumped her body. That is what the Biden administration's policy was. Most of your papers never covered her story when it happened. To the extent that you covered it at all, it was because President Trump forced you to cover it by highlighting it repeatedly over and over again. He had to shame you into covering it. And each and every one of you that sides over and over again with these MS-13 terrorists, to the extent that you have the financial means to do so, you all choose to live in condos or homes or houses as far away from these kinds of gangbangers as you possibly can. If I offered any one of you a rent-free home with no taxes to pay in any of these gang neighborhoods, and I said your neighbors are MS-13 terrorists or Mexican mafia or Sinaloa cartel or Trained Nicaragua, I couldn't pay you to live there. But yet you, with your coverage are trying to force innocent Americans to have these people as their neighbors, and that one day their daughter may be abducted from their home and raped and murdered. So,
you know, people at the podium at the White House, I don't know if they've recently been given orders to double down on the attack on the liberal media, but whether they've gotten orders or not, they certainly are doing that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's great. It's about time we have an administration with a backbone. You know, instead of I'll circle back, or I'll circle back, I'll circle back, or we're not going to talk about that. They actually have a backbone and stand on their own 2 feet and say what's right. And they're out there doing the right thing.
And they know their stuff. You know, what I love, and it's a tragedy that they even have to know those names, but they know the names of people that have been murdered in gruesome type events that have happened at the hands of terrorist illegal immigrants.
Absolutely.
And the ones that were killed in that manner, there is no question that they were doing nothing wrong. You know, whether you think Renee Good was doing something positive, you have to admit that blocking the street and not allowing people through is way different than a little girl getting abducted from her family.
Or a Ukrainian immigrant simply riding the bus home.
Absolutely. And so, I don't know. This Renee Good thing, I've seen so much stuff, so much hypocritical stuff. The people that cheered Charlie Kirk act like Renee Good was a martyr.
Yeah.
And she was anything but a martyr.
She wasn't. She was a fool. Whoa.
And we could go, there's been a lot coming out in the last few days about the few that Biden sent back, but more so Obama, Clinton, Bush back in there, that they sent people back. But the difference is they didn't deploy Gestapo tactics.
They didn't go neighborhood to neighborhood. They didn't employ the fire department to get illegals hanging on the roof. They sent the criminals that were already arrested, which is good, but there were criminals that were not arrested, and that's what ICE is doing. And well, like that gentleman just said, let them, move into their neighborhoods. If you're we stand with our neighbors, cool, then move into their neighborhood, move next door, do it.
Take one in and put them up as a border in your house.
Right, give them a bedroom, give them a room.
And the left is always
shut up or shut up.
The left is always guilt and shaming our side, but I don't see any of them going out of their way to make life better for the people that they're protecting.
Not one bit.
And I don't know where this video is, but I'm pretty sure your mom sent it too. A guy said, there's one thing missing in all the protests in Minneapolis, and that's the people that the protesters are taking up for. You don't see the immigrants out there protesting and being thankful that these liberals that are out there protesting are taking up for them. And now some people might say, well, they're afraid they'll get arrested. Well, not every person from Venezuela is Tranderagua. Where are those that aren't criminals? And they're not out there. I hate to say this, but a majority in what I've been seeing is white women protesting.
Yeah.
They're
and college age white males wearing goofy masks.
Mary had a good point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Agenda Free News, which we played on here a bunch of times with Steve Lookner. He was live last night. He paid a journalist named BG on the scene, I believe, and he was there in Minneapolis, and it was hysterical. It was overweight white women, college age white males. I didn't see any Venezuelan immigrants. I didn't see any Mexican immigrants. I didn't see any, I don't know, a body with a job that wasn't Wendy's. You know, and there's not a problem with that, but, you know, they weren't accomplishing anything besides being a public nuisance. These blowing the whistles and chasing ICE agents. All the concrete and barriers in front of the federal building. FIs, rest in peace, Renee Good. What is that accomplishing? What did Renee Good accomplish? You know, they're saying it's the left's Charlie Kirk. What did she accomplish? She hit an ICE agent? What did Charlie Kirk accomplish? What about TPUSA? My God. All the lives he touched and changed. It's so aggravating, and I'm really, really, really ready for it to be over with. You guys got up, you chanted, you wore your Among Us outfits and your dinosaur costumes, and you dressed like broccoli, and you rah, rah, rah. Go away now. Let the big boys handle the real world events. But you're right. It's white women complaining for no real reason.
I'm taking a look. We just got, let me get this link over to where we can share it. I'll share my screen here.
It's not letting me pull it up. Ooh. Yeah, if you can get that, great.
All right, I think let me get it on the right browser here.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They have a reason. George is paying them, which is sickening.
Yeah, very.
Sickening and disgusting. Well, there's so much more that his money could be going to spend to do.
Let's see. Get the volume on, make it full screen, and play.
Show, Life, Liberty, Levin. I call him the great one, Mark Levin. Thank me. You know, you're going to come on regularly Fridays, which I'm glad because I know how busy you are and you're writing a lot. And I feel very passionate about this. We lost 20 to 30,000 students. They're in line to execute many, many more. And when Donald Trump says help is on the way, that is their only lifeline, sadly.
You know, Sean, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to talk to my fellow Americans for a minute. The vast majority of these people who protested and are being murdered and held in prisons, being tortured and raped, are young people the age of your children and grandchildren. You go online and you look at these photos, you see 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds dead, their eyes wide open, looking into the sky. They had to wonder, my God, what's happening to me? Their prisons are filled with thousands and thousands of these young people who want what our kids want on a Friday night in America, to go to a movie, not to be forced to cover their hair and their face, to dance, maybe have a drink if if they're old enough to go out on a date, this is what they want. This is Persia. The Persian people are Western people. That's what they are. Do you know what? Iran today is a concentration camp. The lights are off. The electricity is off. It's dark. There's no communication except for Qatar's communication system, Al Jazeera. People are being dragged out of their homes tonight as I speak. They're hiding in their homes. They're being executed summarily. The prisoners, who are the age of your children and grandchildren, are being tortured and raped. It's not 3,000 dead. I just read it's 23,000 dead, and the number's going up. You can't see there. You can't hear there. Maybe they're not hanging people, but they have bullets. They're killing people, and they are abusing these people. Now, people say, what is it our business? Now, sometimes there are things we cannot do, the Uyghurs in China and so forth and so on. You just said that this guy Khomeini has ordered the assassination of our president. They've tried to assassinate our president. He should be taken out. When you try to take out the president of the United States, since when do we tolerate that from any 7th century barbarian primitive? Not today, not yesterday, and we shouldn't take it tomorrow. And we shouldn't be here wondering what America should do. This is a regime that said, yeah, you took out our nukes, but you can't take out our knowledge about nukes, and we're going to keep building them.
We could have let that go on for another couple of minutes. And he does make an amazing point in that it's young people the age of our kids and our grandkids. So it's the age of your kids and my grandkids.
Yeah.
And like
Absolutely.
he said, all they want is somewhat of a normal life. I mean, that they've got nothing in the way of a normal life. You know, we've talked before. You're not gay and be in Iran, because if you are, they'll hang you. And you know, I'm not saying that, you know, we should have gays go to Iran. I'm not saying that in the least, but I'm just saying they don't allow a lot of things. And that's one of the things they don't allow. Levine, I love listening to him. I've always been a huge Hannity fan. I had a hard time listening to Hannity when it was Hannity and Combs, because Combs.
Yeah.
I actually think he was a good guy. He would. I almost think he played a role and wasn't as, you know, not like James Carville or some of the ones that are popular today. James Carville.
Which I just read an article. It was an interview with James Carville and Kayleigh McEnany, former White House press secretary, saying that the Americans should prepare to lose the House in the midterms. It's kind of an election call that he made that we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure we will, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, I seen Trump talking about that too, and basically said he doesn't understand why that is the case with the midterms, when he's got things turning around and things are going in the right direction. Why would the people of America vote for the other
that's
side?
Something you and I see. That's something that you and I see. That's something that our followers see, but that's not something that the left sees. All they see is Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Doesn't matter. He could walk out of the White House out of the basement of the White House and say, I spent my lifetime and this is a cure for cancer. I'm giving it away for free. And they would complain. He could say, I'm going to give every American $2 million. It's going to be in your bank account tomorrow. And they would complain. They would find something to complain about because Orange Man bad. So it doesn't matter.
Well, I quickly ran over to X to see if they had anything updated on Iran. And we've kind of hit this, but senior clerics like Ayatollah Khatami. This is a different Ayatollah, I believe, and Judiciary Chief Gholam Hossein, something or another, urged death penalties and rapid trials for demonstrators detained during the unrest. Rights groups report thousands arrested with overflowing prisons and no lawyer access, while death tolls range from 500 to 3,400. And you heard Levine there just say, what did he say, 24,000 or something?
Yeah.
President Trump claimed his pressure led to canceling of over 800 hangings as exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi predicted the regime's collapse, and Starlink provided workaround internet access. The thing about, and it's great what Elon did there, but you still have to have the hardware in order to access Starlink.
I read an article that Iran officials have captured a shipping container filled with all the Starlink modems and routers and all the things that they needed. They captured that and took command, or took them all. They're not letting the people have them, so still leaving them in an internet blackout.
Well, I will be glad.
Fly overhead and drop modems.
No, well, and get them there intact.
Right.
Well, I'll be glad when we're covering something in addition to Iran and Minneapolis. I don't know if you remember, but several days ago, I told you that Monday you would be solo.
Yes, I do remember.
Okay, because I've been invited. Your mother has been invited. Another person that's in here on a regular basis was invited, to our good friends, Doug and Amber, to watch the national championship football game between the Miami Hurricanes and our Indiana Hoosiers. And my phone is about
invited.
You were not invited. That's
I am
true.
okay with that. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, we knew that. And my phone is about to die, so if I go off of here, you just go ahead and finish everything out. But I played a video at the very first part. This is another video, and what they are doing is they are singing the IU fight song. That's what it was earlier. That's what this one is, except this one is in the locker room after the Rose Bowl when IU beat Alabama. So I'm more than likely going to lose my power here. So good night, everybody, and go IU.
1, 2, you know what to do. Indiana, 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 what for you? We will fight for the crimson, for the glory of IU. Never doubted, never falter, in the battle, we're trying to true. Indiana, 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 all for you, IU.
That's awesome. Not personally a fan, doesn't matter. Go IU. It's Indiana. It's where I live, man. That's awesome. So, like Pastor Ed said, we will be back. Well, not we. Let me. I will keep you. I'll keep you company. I'm not an IU fan. Awesome, great. We'll do a Ronnie and Bill show on Monday. That's fine. So, I will be back on Monday for sure. I'll make sure and have some good information for you, like always. We appreciate each and every one of you being here. Thank you to all our new viewers on X. Go ahead and give us a like, give us a smiley face, give us a heart, something like that. Thank you, everyone. And until we see you again, go out and do the right thing.
Thank you for joining us for today's live stream. This has been a presentation of Ed Boston Media.